Feedback. Me mentioning this word might bring you some level of anxiety. Whether you're about to give feedback to someone or receive feedback from someone, feedback might make you feel very uncomfortable. In this video, we are going to remove the fear factor out of feedback and shine a light on all the goodness that can come out of feedback for yourself and for your team. I'm not sure I'm ready for it, but let's do it. My name is Greg Angelbert. I've had about a 20-year corporate career where I went from being a trainee to eventually being a managing director, vice president. And I went from managing myself to eventually having about 1,000 people under my responsibility. Today I'm a mentor, a coach, and I help individual people, teams, and organizations to reach the level of performance that they choose to achieve. The traditional definition of feedback goes like that: to provide information and insight to individuals or teams about their performance, behavior, or work. I think there's a more basic and fundamental way to define feedback. Think about a young child discovering the world. They are animated by a very basic human need, which is their desire to learn, to discover, to explore. When they first see a flame, they might be attracted to it. They might think, oh, what is this shiny little moving object in front of me? And then they touch it, they burn their hand, and they get a very direct feedback on their action. This feedback is a feedback from the environment about the boundaries in which they can explore and learn. Essentially, feedback is our environment telling us something in return for the way we project ourselves in the environment. This environment is made of the physical world around us and the living creatures within it, some of those creatures being other human beings. When you act a certain way in front of one person or a group of people, they will react to the way that you're interacting with them, the way you are actually doing it. And you will always receive some feedback one way or another, but we might not hear it or see it. So when we talk about feedback here, it is the conscious and intentional act of seeking or giving an observation to someone. Why do we need to do this? Well, remember the flame. It educated us in being careful about the flame, not burning ourselves, so we are avoiding pain as part of a natural human need. Feedback is about understanding yourself and others better. Based on this understanding, you can learn new ways of doing things that will get you the most out of your interactions with the world. Most here means getting closer to what you aspire to be, the goals and the achievements that you would like to have in your life. And feedback also helps to reinforce behaviors, actions that you do which are working well for you or for others. Overall, it helps you grow. Based on the definition just given, you should feel a little bit better about the fear of feedback. Let me tell you a story, a personal story about how my first coach in my life tricked me actually to get some feedback from my first team when I was managing a team for the first time. Her name is Sharon Hall, by the way. She's a fantastic coach, and I wouldn't be the person I am today without her. When we started coaching, it was with the explicit goal that I wanted to be improving myself as a manager of people. So she asked me what I thought of myself as a manager of people. And I felt pretty good about myself. I thought that I was close to people, that I was demanding but not too much, etc. I had a pretty high opinion of myself. She asked me if I would be comfortable with asking my team members, the people that I interact with, about how they are perceiving me, doing that anonymously, like a 360-degree exercise. And considering how good I felt about myself, I said, sure, bring it on. I remember vividly the feeling that I had when I received the report that she sent me after the exercise. It was horrible. My team was far from impressed with me, and particularly in areas where I thought I was doing very well. That is the single best thing that could have happened in my life. After this shocking revelation, she helped me pick the pieces of my shattered self, and we got to work. After all, I had a lot of information that I could decide to act upon and progressively change my behavior. I'm happy to report it got better. When we fear receiving feedback, it's principally because we fear an attack on our sense of self. Feedback is given to you unwillingly or poorly. What will happen to you is most probably your amygdala will kick in. And it will kick in because you will feel like you're under threat. When that happens, forget about all the higher functions of your brain. You're basically getting into I'm going to freeze, or I'm going to run, or I'm going to fight. And if you experience this once, then you might start to relate feedback to that feeling. And running away or some of those reactions are okay, particularly if you're receiving some feedback which is really poorly done. That's just self-preservation. Feedback which is received and given in a safe way is feedback which is focused on the sense of autonomy, relatedness and competence of the individual. Those are primary psychological needs that everyone has, and we are all trying to maximize them. There's more about this in this video here and here. If you like this video so far, then you know what to do. Also subscribe to the channel and put the notifications on if you want to receive content like this every week. A summary of key points, all the tools I use in the video to help you perform best for yourself and for your team. Subscribe to my Patreon below. Check out other videos from other YouTubers in the description about the same topic of feedback. There's a lot more to learn. Before we get to the toolbox, let's review what are the different situations in which feedback can be given or received. There's peer-to-peer feedbacks, when two team members give each other feedback. There's manager-to-employee feedback, that's the traditional one, where a manager provides feedback to an employee on their performance, their behaviors. There's feedback on a project or a milestone, where a team would work on providing feedback on that project milestone, discussing how to improve the overall performance of the team and also the delivery of future projects. There is 360-degree feedback, where an individual receives feedback from multiple sources, including manager, colleagues, customers. That's an essential step for better self-awareness and getting the respect from others on your desire to improve. All of those can be done face-to-face or in a remote environment. I find feedback to be more powerful when you do it face-to-face. There is more of a human touch. At the same time, some people who are very fearful about feedback might benefit from doing it at distance. Now to the tool. Let's focus on one-to-one feedback situation here, but they can also be used for group feedback. Thou shalt respect those rules. The first rule is to prepare the feedback. Write it down, mutter to yourself how you want to deliver it while trying to respect the rules which are here. The second point is to find a place private enough so people will not feel threatened. Then explain some ground rules so people know what to expect. That it is your opinion only. That they should listen to feedback, ask for clarification questions. That they should not react to it in trying to defend themselves. That what they do with the feedback is up to them. They can even throw it in the bin if that's what they think is best. Number 4, start with a position of care with a person. This is a mindset in which you go into the feedback. This can take the format of a sentence like, I am giving you these comments because I have high expectations of you and I'm confident you can reach them. Or use their need for autonomy. How would you link your feedback to giving them more autonomy in their work, in their life? You can also link it to their need for relatedness. How is the feedback linked to how to work better with others, how to live better with others? How is it linked to the team objective? You can also link feedback to their need for competence. How would that feedback help them to reach the mastery that they want to achieve somewhere? And how will it help them be recognized for something that is important for them to be recognized for? And number 6, better yet, if you've done some homework on the person's aspirations first, then you can use this into your introduction, linking the feedback to what matters the most for the person. Number 7 is to use sentences like, I think, my observation is. It is important to use those words for people to understand that it is your opinion. It is not a fact. So please avoid starting sentences with, you are this, you are that. Number 8 is be specific. Make sure that you have examples of situation and that you explain what the impact is of what the person has done, whether this is positive or negative. Number 9, give feedback in small doses. Focus on 1 to 3 observations on what the person has done well, or 1 to 3 areas of development. And number 10 is make sure you have separate sessions on giving acknowledgement feedback versus development feedback. Otherwise, the positive and negative messages get blurred. As a reminder, you might want to have a summary of this tool and of the rules. If you want that, you can subscribe to my Patreon below. We live in a constant state of feedback, whether with the environment or with other people. We do not even think about the feedback that we receive from the environment all the time, because most of it is subconscious and we've learned it when we were very young. When it comes to feedback and engaging with other people, that's where we actually need to learn the skill, because we might not have learned it in school. I like to see feedback everywhere, because then it becomes something which is entirely part of your life every day. It is a way of living. And if someone gives you feedback in a non-helpful way, first, forgive. They don't know how to do it. Then give them feedback in a powerful way, the way that you've just learned. If you feel that this is a lot to take in and you actually need help to practice to implement it, well, I'm a coach. So you can reach out, we can talk about good techniques and good habits, and I can help you implement them in your life. If you want to have an introductory chat, check in the link below. Feedback is just one of the ways that we can have to interact in the best way possible with people at work or in our life. If you want to know more about a key way to reach peak performance for yourself, for your team and your organization, then you might be interested in this video here.